Properly lighting a reef tank is one of the most important considerations when planning a new aquarium or upgrading your lighting setup. Hi, this is Waylon from Marine Depot, and thanks for tuning in. There's a lot of information to sift through if you're looking for lighting answers online. The science of light in corals is very complex and can get very confusing, especially when you're looking for straightforward information. At Marine Depot, we get thousands of questions every month. Reef lighting is certainly at the top of the list. We are commonly asked, what type of lighting do I need for good coral growth, and which lighting fixture is right for my tank? Although there can be a simple answer to these questions, it's important to understand the science that informs these decisions as well. Pretty much everyone knows that light is critical for keeping SPS and LPS corals. Many new reefers, though, tend to blast the corals with as much light as possible, which research on captive corals show isn't ideal. In the early days of reef keeping, aquarists bought the biggest, brightest light they could find. Everyone knew coral reefs thrived under direct sunlight. So DIY reefers were trying to hang the power of 100 suns over their tanks. That's what the public aquariums were doing, so why not try the same thing at home? But it didn't always work. The light overheated the water, some corals stopped growing, and others were burned. When it came to light, more definitely was not better. Today, we understand a lot more about lighting requirements of corals and other photosynthetic invertebrates. We tried to distill all this information down for you to make choosing a light less of a headache. The major factors to keep in mind when looking for a light are wireless controllability, programming modes, and a sleek form. However, the king of all these factors is the light's PAR, which is the first thing you should look at. PAR stands for photosynthetic active radiation. It is the range of light waves used by symbiotic algae living inside of coral tissue. PAR is the engine that drives photosynthesis, and it's photosynthesis that feeds our corals. If your lighting rig is bright but doesn't provide the right light spectrum, all you're doing is burning electricity. Quality beats intensity. PAR covers the visible lighting spectrum but is heavy in the blue, 400 to 500 nanometers, and the red, 600 to 700 nanometers wavelengths. It is possible for a light to be bright but not provide PAR. PAR is measured in units of micromole photons per square meter per second. Thankfully, there's no math involved in figuring out a fixture's PAR rating. Most of today's top LED light manufacturers provide PAR specs for their fixtures, making life a lot easier. They get these measurements by using a PAR meter. The sensor is first placed in the water under the light. Readings are then taken at various depths and distances from the center of the LED array. PAR readings are then plotted to show how the intensity of the PAR drops as you move further from the light. You can use the manufacturer's PAR data to get a rough idea of the amount of light your tank will receive with a particular light fixture. You can also take your own measurements with a PAR meter. PAR meters are a little pricey, but they do let you see the PAR measures at different levels in your reef tank. It's very helpful for determining where to best place your corals or to make adjustments to your light. So what's the right amount of PAR for your corals? Marine biologists have conducted PAR measurements on tropical reefs where SPS and LPS corals thrive. The PAR levels range from around 150 to over 450 across the reefs of the world. But what level will most satisfy corals in a home aquarium? Captive coral researcher Dana Riddle discovered that the ideal average PAR range for corals is somewhere between 100 to 200 PAR. Too much PAR is both ineffective and actually it inhibits photosynthesis, potentially damaging corals as well. 200 to 400 PAR will bring out vibrant coloration but sacrifices a little coral growth. Research suggests that corals may even develop brighter pigments to protect against excess lighting. The big takeaway is captive corals are happiest with moderate light intensity. Too much light will inhibit or harm the corals. There's no absolute rule on the perfect PAR for all corals, but a good starting point is 150 to 250 PAR. So how do you choose the right light fixture for your tank? Start by looking at the PAR specs. They'll give you an idea of the maximum PAR at specific depths. There's also nothing wrong with going with a more powerful fixture as long as you can dial it back, which is especially helpful as your corals acclimate to a new lighting system. If you can't find PAR data for a particular light, Search online and see how other aquarists are using the fixture. Learning from the experience of others is always helpful and valuable. If you still aren't feeling too confident on lighting, feel free to give us a call and we'll be happy to help you out. Please share this video if you found it helpful and don't forget to like and comment below. As always, take care and happy reef keeping.